All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Raising Kids Pushing Weights podcast. I am your host, Jeff Newman, back with another episode this week. And this week, we're going to be talking about 3 daily nutrition goals that will blow away any diet out there, all right? Now, this is an important topic because this is something that I have been doing for the last, I've been really doing this on and off for the last few years, but more specifically, these 3 goals I've been doing for the last 6 weeks, and I've gotten awesome results myself. I'm helping other people who are my clients get awesome results right now in their programs, and this is sustainable. As parents, as busy people in general, like we can't sustain these crazy diets that eliminate a bunch of foods. We can't be making individual meals for ourselves when our families are eating other things. So instead of that, I'm giving 3 daily nutrition goals that are way easier to hit and that get better results and that you can sustain long term. So let's dive into it. So did you know that 95% of all diets fail? I would even probably say it's 99% of diets, because realistically, I don't really know anyone who started keto or started paleo or started whatever it is diet, insert a blank diet, and has been able to sustain it for the rest of their lives. I think everyone at some point fails their diet. So I would argue that it's 100% failure rate for diets. And did you know there's stats out there that show 65% of people or more regain the weight that they lost on whatever diet that they tried? That is incredible. More than half the people that start a diet, even if they lose weight, even if they can sustain it for a certain amount of time, they regain all of their weight that they lost. That is terrible. And that should show you right there, those 2 stats right there should show you why you shouldn't diet. All right, so let's dive in a little bit more. What are diets at their core? What do we see when we peel back the layers of these diets? Where did they come from? Why do they get success in the short term? They all have a common denominator. They all eliminate certain food groups, or in the case of something like intermittent fasting, they eliminate the time you can eat. So they're eliminating something. They're basically putting you in a calorie deficit. There's no magic behind if you eat low carb or high carb or low fat or high fat. Every single person is different. I have clients who succeed eating more fat. I have clients who succeed eating a whole lot of carbs. I'm talking 200, 300 grams of carbs. It's just kind of a personal preference, but the thing is that what these diets do, you go from eating a standard diet which kind of mixes in all foods, and then when you eliminate just some of those foods just by giving guidelines like eating no bread or eating no carbs or whatever it is, all you're doing is just eliminating overall calories, putting you in a calorie deficit, which will make you lose weight, right? Right. The problem is that it's not sustainable. People drop off. Like I just said, 95, it says 95, I'm saying it's 100% of diets do fail at some point. You might be super strict paleo. I've done it too. I've gone super strict paleo. I've gone super strict keto for a while. You do it for a while, and then something comes up. Maybe it's an event or whatever it is. They only have like spaghetti and garlic bread, and it's like, who's going to say no to that? So you end up having some, and then you start to lose motivation, and then another thing comes up, and then you lose motivation, and then so on and so forth. You finally drop off, and then you are trying to like scramble to restart it, and then you keep dropping off and things like that. Or you fall into the never-ending diet, I call it, where you're super strict for a week, and then you have a few bad days. Then you get in this endless cycle of a strict deficit for 3 to 5 weeks. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're making great progress. You're staying in a calorie deficit or trying to eat all the healthy foods, cut out all that crap for those days. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday come, and you fall off. And then Monday you come back and you're like, no, I'm good, and I'm going to be more strict. And you just keep doing that over and over and over. So this is a whole separate conversation. But if that sounds like you, let's talk, because that endless cycle can be really bad, and it can mess with your metabolism and just overall psyche and overall mental state when it comes to dieting and losing weight and being healthier, all right? There's better ways to do it. So if that's you, let's talk. Anyways, back to the unsustainable diets. I don't know about you, but I like having sweets. I like having some leftover chicken nuggets from my daughter, or some pizza with my family sometimes. I like food. And I don't think any parent should try to force themselves into these unsustainable diets. I think there's a better way of going about it. And that way of going about it is having the right balance, being able to still enjoy some of these foods while still being strict enough to get the results that we want. And that's why leading into this, I came up with these 3 daily nutrition goals that each parent or even person in general can hit every single day that blows any diet out of the water and that gets the results that you want and that is actually sustainable. All right, like I said, I actually just did this and I got some awesome results. I only lost about 5 pounds, but my waistline went down and my strength went way up actually in these last 6 weeks. And you actually can see, I'll post it, my before and after photo, and you can see the physical difference just by doing these three things. And I'm not saying I was super strict with my food choices. I had Peyton's birthday party. I had a whole bunch of different events going on. I had friends come up and we drank beer. Like, I wasn't extremely strict, but I did stick to these 3 things. So here it is. Number 1, hit your protein goal of at least 0.6 grams per pound of body weight. You hear me talk about protein all the time, yet people are still so low in protein. You don't have to go as high as some of the people say where it's like 1 gram per pound of body weight, because eating 200 grams of protein is a lot of freaking protein. But 0.6, what is that? 200-pound person? That's 120 grams of protein. I think that's very doable. That means 30 to 40 grams at each meal. Do your own calculation based on how much you weigh. Now, one bonus tip to do that is you start your day off with at least 30 grams of protein in your breakfast. And you can refer to some of my old videos where I go through specific examples of this. But eating 1 egg or even just 2 eggs does not get you to 30 grams of protein. 1 egg has 6 grams. So you need to be eating more, or adding in Greek yogurt, or adding in cottage cheese, or adding in a protein shake, or something that's going to get you that 30 to 40 grams for breakfast. This is your main focus. This is what you should base all of your days off of, is hitting your protein goal. If you can hit that through primarily whole foods, I essentially don't care what else you eat. To an extent, of course, like, I still want you to focus on whole foods, but just by hitting your protein goal, you allow yourself so much more food freedom than on these other diets where they just try to pigeonhole you down to specific food types. What I'm saying is I want you to hit your protein goal, focus on whole foods, and then you can start adding in some more of those other foods that might not be considered healthy based on what some diets say. Okay, so that's number 1, hit your protein goal. Number 2, have a meal structure. For me, this is having 4 meals a day and 2 snacks. When I can do that consistently, I am so much better. My energy levels are good. My hunger is good. I feel good. For you, it might be different. It might be 3 meals. It might be 2 meals. It might be 3 snacks. It might be 1 snack. You just have to play around with some sort of structure, but you have to give yourself structure. I feel like people nowadays, it's just like, well, I eat when I'm hungry, and then they end up snacking all day, or they end up having a tiny-ass breakfast or no breakfast, and then they snack, and then they have a meal, and then they snack, and it's like you have all these endless snacks around. They have all this access to food, which makes it really easy to overeat. But if you give yourself structure, it's easier to stick to, and yeah. And then also, you cut off the late-night snacking. So for me, something I like to do is a 12-hour fast. I call it a fast. It's basically just not eating from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. For you, it might be different. It doesn't have to be 12 hours. That's just what works for me. For you, if you work early or work late, it might be different hours. But overall, what I'm trying to do with this is cut off your eating time, your eating window at the end of the night, because late night snacking is a real thing where people get in trouble because they keep reaching for calories and they keep ingesting calories late at night. All right? So have your meal structure. And then finally, the third one, which is one of the biggest ones as well, is stick to simple 3 to 5 ingredient meals and then add in a variety of flavors. This is really the secret sauce to staying consistent week after week. This is honestly my specialty, what I love doing, adding different flavors to basic meals. So broccoli and chicken every day, yeah, that's pretty damn boring. But you can take that and morph it into different meals based on a couple simple ingredients that you can add, or a couple different flavors. So one day you could do more of like a taco style bowl where you add hot sauce, salsa, guacamole or something like that. Another day you can add on something like a tahini or something like that to make it more of like a Greek flavor. The next day you can add on or make it more into like a chicken salad. One of my favorite chicken salads is adding Greek yogurt, ranch powder, and a little buffalo sauce to it and making it that way into a chicken salad with your broccoli. Basically, there are so many different ways to adding different flavors to your food just by adding 1 or 2 ingredients or 1 or 2 different spices or 1 or 2 different sauces. And you just have to know these different flavors, because then you can take your base of chicken and broccoli or whatever it is, ground beef and Brussels sprouts, and you can morph that into 4 or 5 different flavors and eat that for 4 or 5 different meals. Doesn't mean you have to eat it for every single meal. It just means that simple meals go a long way. Simple scales, fancy fails. That is something that I heard from one of my business mentors years ago. I think it sticks with every single walk of life, whether it is business or whether it is nutrition. Simple scales, meaning simple is better. Fancy fails, which means all those fancy diets out there, they're going to fail. All right, so that's my 3 main points. So take it, run with it, do what you want with it, listen to it for entertainment. I don't know if you're here just listening to me for entertainment. Hopefully these 3 tips will actually help you. Again, hit your protein goal, have some meal structure, and stick with simple ingredients. If you can do that for 4 weeks, for 6 weeks, for 8 weeks, I guarantee you're going to build better habits. I guarantee you're going to get better results. You're going to feel better overall. And it's super easy. Doing those 3 things are a lot easier than trying to cut out every single carb for the next 6 weeks, or trying to cut out whatever food groups for the next 6 weeks. All right, so do those 3 things instead and see how your results go. All right, that's my episode for today. Do I have a life update? Honestly, not really. Kids are doing well. Camden's getting bigger. Peyton's turned 2. We had her 2nd birthday party. I can't remember if I recorded the last one before or after her party, but it was a blast. It was Bluey themed, so if you've seen some of the decorations around the house and the garage, if you're doing some of my workouts, then you've obviously seen the Bluey and Bingo balloons up there and all the decorations that we had, but it was a blast. We had so much fun. Again, I had so much cake and so much beer, and yeah, and I still got some great results in the first 6 weeks of the year. All right, that's what I got for you for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you for our next episode. Thanks for hanging out.